You might be muted. Are you muted?
Oh man,
Oh, there you are.
we take a couple of weeks off because our lives get busy, and I are already screwing up. Anyway,
We're rusty.
welcome-
We're rusty.
we are Rusty. Welcome everyone to another episode of Watch Soup. I am your co-host Bobby
What's
Legs
this
with
show called again?
yeah with Clayton from the Watchdog podcast. Hey Clayton, it's been a while. What's going on? What do you got on wrist?
Yeah, a lot going on and not much going on at the same time. Just been real busy, exhausted. Yeah, taking some days off next week and going to be with family. So that'll rejuvenate me. And Thanksgiving's just one of my
Yeah,
favorite days of the year.
yep,
Food, Lions play. The way they're playing, I'm not so excited. Sorry we had to take down your Commanders, but then
yeah.
we
We've
blew it
injuries,
against the
man.
Eagles.
Yeah, we
I'm
got
really surprised and disappointed that the Commanders are having this type of year.
Yeah, they've been hurt. I mean, like, for the first half of the season, they went through a couple games where they're all their receivers pretty much, and then Daniels getting injured. I knew it was just a matter of time, man, before that guy's gonna get hurt. I mean, like, he's just like too skinny. You know what I mean? He's just like, and he puts himself out there, right? But it is what it is. Hopefully, he comes back and
Didn't happen at all last year, though. So I thought that was maybe just what the talking heads on ESPN were saying, but it wasn't going to happen. And then this year, of
yeah,
course, I gobbled them up in fantasy football, like way before you're supposed to draft a quarterback. Like in the second round, I took them, and my teams are all suffering for it.
yeah. Sorry. Well,
Yeah.
my apologies as Commanders fan. So, hey, what do you got on wrist?
Wearing the it's a good day, wearing my AK.
All
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Nice. Nice. I got my handy dandy. I still got it. I still got the
Still got it.
Citizens Ivory. Yes, I still really do enjoy wearing this. I don't wear it to work. It's too big. It doesn't fit under the cuff. It does, but barely. So I wear, some of my other timepieces, but this one when I come home, and I'm not, worried about banging it around. I'll throw this back on. Hey, anyway, and I see Wilson's here. I posted like the heads up that I was doing a video this today on the Discord and Bobby Legs Discord, and Wilson was like, because I haven't even been active on there, and he was like, oh, I was going to do a wellness check. So anyway, appreciate the concern, Wilson. Everything's all good. Just crazy life. Life is busy. Anyway,
I haven't done a podcast in like a
yeah.
month, and people I'm getting wellness checks on IG, people messaging, just making sure you're okay. It's like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll slow it up a little bit. Well, next week you're not going to be around.
Yeah, I'm
I
going to
still
be
may,
in Wilson's neck of the woods in outside Detroit. So
yeah, I still may do something on that Wednesday night. Oh, maybe not. Actually, I probably have to help my wife make sweet potato pie. So I'll probably do something on like a Tuesday night or something like that next week. But yeah, the December is gonna be rough, because of the holidays, but maybe we'll get some soups in
yeah,
there while we can. Anyway, let's say hello to the chat, and then we'll get right into it. Rich Mitch, Viscountness abounds. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Is that discountness?
when I first saw that, I was like, viscosity is what I saw for some
Yeah.
reason. Yeah, like that doesn't make sense.
I mean, no. I must be missing something. Everybody, hi, says Marcel. He's wearing his IWC Portugueser, and
Oh,
nice,
nice,
very nice.
nice.
There's Mr. Wilson there, right there. Hey, Amazon, greetings. Watch Humans. Been wearing the Moser Heritage today. Great watch. Ken Spears checking in from Pittsburgh. Um, Mad One. Wilson's wearing nice. Hey, Von Cruel, good to see you. Hey, JB. Hey, now, what is up? What is up? He's wearing his Zin tonight. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
I like Maison's question real quick. What do you think
Yep.
of the new Planet Ocean?
Have I seen it? I'm not even sure if I've seen it. I know that it came out recently. But I'd be lying if I have an opinion on it. I just haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
Well, yeah. Our buddy Dirk got
Oh,
to check it out and sent some
nice.
pictures. I don't know. The Planet Ocean has never been one of my favorite
Mhm.
watches, but he has the like creamsicle one, like
Yeah.
Chaz used to have
Yep.
that one, the
Yep.
white dial with the orange bezel. That one looks so much better compared to the new one, in my opinion. Now the case is interesting on the new one, but the dial and bezel to me are just kind of generic. I don't know.
Oh,
I would buy a previous gen. I'd buy the third gen if I were opting
okay.
for it. Now the dimensions are a little better on the new one. He said, the case is very angular. He said it looks like, and I've seen other people make this comparison as well. It looks like a Cybertruck in person.
Oh,
He said,
okay.
yeah, and I can see that. It's definitely very angular,
Yeah.
which is interesting enough. Now, a lot of people are also comparing it to certain Grand Seiko cases. There's like that tiger. Some of those chronographs have that like weird angular, like the Godzilla does too. Like it looks very much like that.
Mm,
So a lot of people are drawing comparisons. To me, it almost looks like a Marine Master, Seiko Marine
okay.
Master. And I know I've seen that a lot too. It
Okay.
instantly reminded me of the SLA 081.
Okay, I
Yeah,
gotta take a look at it.
yeah.
I've been out of the loop, admittedly, for the last like couple weeks, so I'll definitely have to check that out. Hey, Mes9 is here. Good to
Got
see
rid of the HE valve as well.
you.
Gone.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Um.
It just has less outside of the case, which is interesting. It just the dial and bezel to me look like AI. Omega just whips something up in
Okay.
an AI. Like I don't know. It's just not
Hmm.
as interesting to me as the dial and bezel, but a lot of people seem to like it. I'm sure they're very impressive. They're very polished center links too. So it's
Okay.
definitely I think going for like the Submariner
Center links.
gun in for that. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. All right. Hey, you want to start it off? You want to start
I'll
this off?
start.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's get right into the soup. Watch Bros. 7 phases of watch collecting. You're probably stuck in phase 4. Tell
Uh,
us about
this
this.
one comes courtesy of Homer, actually. And then
Hey, Omer. Yeah.
I wasn't going to pick it for this week because I actually picked it for last week had we done a show. And then Keith actually said it to me today. And I was like, oh, I was actually going to pick this one. So I did a last minute reversal and went with this one. I'm not familiar with this channel. Seemed a little like, I don't know. I'm not sure I love the vibe of it. And I'm not sure I definitely agree with everything
Overly
he said.
produced, it felt like to me, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
it's
yeah,
very
that's
overproduced,
yeah,
but I mean, well done. Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I don't think he ever said his name. Is he one of the Watch Bros? Is he the Watch Bro? Like, I wasn't
Yeah,
positive on
I,
that,
I I don't know
but
if I've seen this bro as a watch bro.
yeah,
You know?
I don't know. But anyway, this bro here, he starts. He's owned 47 watches. He spent $300,000 on watches, chasing the perfect collection. Now he's selling 32 of them because he's hit phase 7. He says most people are stuck in phase 4, and it's costing them thousands. Here we have the 7 phases of watch collecting and which one you're in right now. He said every collector goes through the same 7 phases. Um, through 15 years and absurd amounts of money spent, he's made countless mistakes, but he finally hit phase 7. He says most collectors don't get to phase 7.
Mm,
And after he breaks it down, you'll know exactly what phase you're in and what you need to do next. Fair warning, phase 4 is going to hurt because that's where most people are stuck right now. And I figured we just briefly
yeah,
discuss after
sure.
every phase so I don't
Mm,
talk for 25 minutes. Phase 1, the awakening. You've been wearing fashion
yeah,
watches, maybe smart watches, looking at your phone, no watch at all. I came through it through smart watches, got sick of smart watches, and then saw a real watch and had my awakening, so to speak, as he says here. One day you see a real watch and something clicks. It's not jewelry. You connect with the engineering, the art, the history. Then you do late night Google dives, YouTube rabbit holes. I remember watching every Just One More Watch video at like 2 in the morning after I discovered watches.
yeah.
Um, you notice every watch in movies. You watch movies maybe because you've seen a specific watch is in that movie.
Mm,
Everyone walking down the street, you notice what they're wearing. I still do that. Uh, his happened in 2010 when his brother-in-law bought a Tag Carrera. He stared at it and thought, you know what? I think I love watches now. And that here he is. That's how he got started. He bought a Timex and he wore it every day for 6 months. He
yeah.
said, this is the purest phase. Enjoy it. You love watches for what they are, not what they cost. It doesn't last, however, as we know, and as we get to phase 2. Do you remember how you got to phase 1? And was there that like blissful ignorance in phase 1
Oh,
that you miss
yeah.
a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, uh, I remember it was like the summer of 2018, and I wanted to get back into collecting, and I just put it together watches and YouTube. And so like I was like, oh, because at the time I wasn't really consuming much content on YouTube, and I was like, well, let me look some of this stuff up, and then like that's how I just
Yeah.
Random Rob, um, Archie, Tristano, all those guys, and I was just like consuming Bill Sanders as much as I could. It
Yeah.
was great. Those days were great.
Yep, same. I remember I was not like you, not a big YouTube consumer at all, barely watched anything, and I think just Googling certain watches and then
Mm,
the videos would come
yep.
up. It's like, "Oh,
That.
wait a minute."
Yep.
And then
Same.
podcasting too,
Mm,
like, that I got really into some watch podcasts that way too, because I listen a lot with whether running, mowing the lawn, whatever. So yeah, but yeah, I remember those days and just Casio. It was
mm,
Casio for me, and the thought of spending big money on a watch was repulsive.
yeah.
Even like we all say that like $1,000 on a watch. Are you effing crazy? I'm never doing
Yeah.
that. So yeah, those days are they I think about them often and
Yeah.
fondly.
Yep.
It was nice. Yeah. Okay, then yeah, the ignorance doesn't last for long, though. You're not innocent any longer, my friend. You go to phase 2, the hype chaser. Welcome to hell, he says.
Mm,
You're on Instagram constantly. You want all the hype watches. You care more about what others' opinions than your own. You want what's hot and what's hyped.
mm,
For him, it was a Tudor Black Bay S&G, a Speedy, and a vintage Omega. He spent $13,500 on those watches. Total watches he actually loved, zero.
mm,
He didn't. He just bought them because they were hyped. Phase 2 is buying watches for status, not because you love them. Stop, he says. If you are in this phase, unfollow 5 hype accounts. See if you can do it for 30 days. I'm not sure I follow any hype account. I don't know if
yeah.
I do. Um, and then yeah. So were you ever in the hype phase? Did you buy
Yeah.
hype
I think
watches?
like
Yeah.
a hype affordable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the SKX, that was like like that was getting hyped up. You know what I mean
Yeah.
by the kind of the content creators. For example, some Seikos, and then I mean, I got caught up. You know, the sub was a hype watch, but I mean, I had been chasing a sub for a really, really, really long time, so I don't consider myself falling into that trap. As a hype watch, you know.
Yeah.
But because I was already into it, I felt like But I mean, I'm sure that some like on the affordable side, hype watches I definitely fell for. How about you?
I think it was more like I remember being a part of like Random Rob's group and other groups. I think it was watches hyped up in those groups,
Yeah, I think
like
that's what.
instead of
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
Instagram, like
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
people or something, influencers. I never
Yeah.
really got too hooked on that. But yeah, if like everyone in my group was excited about a new release, I would buy
Yeah.
it, or especially if
Yeah.
it was like a limited edition and I knew people I knew were getting it. Like I was excited, their excitement, or if they got one even and showed pictures like,
Yeah.
I need that.
Yeah.
That was more of the hype I kind of fell into.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
similar, same.
Yeah. Yeah. Then phase 3, the spender, the danger zone, as the bro calls it here. You want luxury, Rolex, Omega, IWC, JLC, Vacheron, Patek. You convince yourself that one expensive watch will complete your collection. That's it. This will be the last. This is the grail, right? How many times did we tell ourselves that
Yeah.
early on?
Yeah.
One expensive watch is going to solve all my problems. 5K, that doesn't do it. Then you spend 8K, that doesn't do it. Pretty soon, $20,000, and that doesn't even do it. He hit this phase in 2019 when he bought a Bluesy, Rolex Submariner Bluesy. He paid 17,500 on the secondary market. He wore it for 3 months, but he didn't love it. He loved the prestige of owning it, though, more
Mm,
than the watch.
mhm.
It's dangerous. You justify purchases with future value, right? This is going to be an investment. Then he says if a watch is truly an investment or will hold future value, it needs 3 things: clear demand, cap supply, and clean provenance. You miss one of those things, and then you're just speculating, not investing. He lost $2,500 when he eventually sold his Bluesy. You'll never be satisfied in this phase. I think I probably did. I probably still do that to an extent, but not because it'll hold future value. But I am attracted to limited editions. I kind of always have been.
Yeah.
I like owning things that not everybody has. Outside, it has to be comfortable. I have to
Yeah.
like it. But
Sure.
then once those criteria are met, I
Yeah.
go for like the more weirder, unique stuff that
Yeah.
maybe not everybody will have. So
Yeah.
I think like I trick myself into thinking like, oh, this is rare. You can't pass this up. Maybe I'm not necessarily worried about monetary value so much, but I
Mhm.
still speculate in that. Like this is going to
Mhm.
be rare.
Mhm.
Not even like thinking about selling it, but more just like no one else is going to have this. And if
Yeah.
if I go to a watch meetup or something, I'm going to be the only one that has this. And
Yeah. Yeah.
as weird as that sounds, or maybe petty or fickle or whatever,
Yeah.
I think like that. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that there's something cool about. I mean, like you are collecting in a sense, right? Something, so
Mhm.
it makes sense to be gravitated to something that's harder to get or limited, seemingly,
Yeah,
as part of your collection. Otherwise, if you're collecting things that a lot of people have, it doesn't feel much of a collection in that way, unless I mean, collecting it. There's so many layers to collecting, right? You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
so, but I never like the price thing. I never really climbed crazy on that. I stayed within like the more affordable luxury, not anything like Holy Trinity or any of those kind of places watches, because those price points, just like I just never really felt comfortable getting
yeah,
to that point, and then like wearing something around my wrist, like, and that's why one of the main reasons why I sold the Submariner is like I didn't feel comfortable wearing that, especially having a family, and I wanted to do things, and that watch went when I sold it. We took a trip and paid for some things around the house, that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
um, yeah.
Okay, phase 4 then, the one he says we're all stuck in still, the rationalizer. You are probably here right now. He said 70% of all collectors are stuck here. No idea how he came to that number. This bro, man.
Yeah.
His brother-in-law, his aforementioned brother-in-law, is still here in this phase. He has 40 some watches and every excuse in the book to justify them, and most just rot in his watch box.
Mhm.
In phase 4, you own 10 to 50 watches. You've spent more money than you care to admit, and you're trying to convince yourself you've made good choices. Then he went down the line. You can look in your watch box in this stage at all 50. One is versatile. This one was a great deal. This brand is underrated. This one is a
Yeah.
memory watch, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. Um, Rationalization, justification, and lying to yourself.
Mhm.
Little dramatic here.
Yeah.
We all collect differently. I think he's
Yeah.
like overgeneralizing here a
Yeah.
lot. Like everyone has to think like him. Then he offers us a quick test. How many do you own right now, and how many have you worn in the last month? If these numbers aren't close, you're in phase 4.
Mm.
He had 23 watches in this phase. His rationalizations for a few pieces: the Black Bay, quintessential, great diver; the Speedy, historic, went on the moon, right? Sub goes with everything. Turns out, of all the watches he had, of all 23, he only wore two, 70% of the time, and the other 21 were 30% of the time. Phase 4 is where you realize the truth. More watches doesn't always mean a great collection. It's a wake up call.
Mm.
Did something happen in this phase 4? Are you still in phase
Yeah.
4? What do you
No.
think?
No. 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 I'm in no. I'm not in phase four. I would say. Um, I used to be in phase four, but I mean, like, I never had. Again, I never had like 40 watches. Maybe the most was probably like a dozen. But I'm down to like when I think about like the luxury the pieces that I have, right? I have the two GPs, the Panerai, and I'll throw in the oh crap, what's the Eisenkaiser, the one that did the Formex.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those are the four watches, and this one five. I mean, that's all the watches I have. I mean, I have like G-Shocks laying around, strewed about the house.
Yeah.
So I'm past. I was in phase four maybe a couple of years ago, but I'm not in phase four. How about you?
I definitely was in phase 4. I had 40 something watches at one point. Yep. I have pictures. Yep. Uh, evidence, receipts. But yeah, God, long gone. That's long gone for
Yeah.
me. Yeah, I have so right now I think I have like 14 watches that I wear regularly. 8 in my, well, really 13, 7 in
Yeah.
my main collection, and then I have a 6 watch rotation, so that's including G-Shocks and everything. I have
Yeah.
gift watches. I don't really count that because I didn't buy those. So, but yeah, so I've worn them all in the last month and a half. I have like a 6 week rotation with my work watches, and then I've worn them all, and that's 8, 7, 8 in my main collection is getting to be a lot for me, but I wear them all, so it's
Yeah.
not too stressful anymore, and it'll get a little stressful, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, like, look, I mean, I out of those 4 watches I mentioned and this Citizen, I've worn them in the last month, all of them,
yeah,
you know, and a couple of them several times because I'm going into the office now, and I like to wear like the GPs and the Formex and the Panerai for those. I switch those up, so I'm actually with those 5 watches and in conjunction of going into the office now again. I'm wearing all my watches.
that's awesome. Yep, you are an enlightened collector like the bro here.
Yeah.
Uh, phase 5, things start to look up here. You're the curator. It's where the healing begins. You get intentional. Every watch has a reason to exist in your collection. No more, I might wear it someday. Instead, you have your daily, your dress watch, your beater, your travel watch, etc., whatever the case might be,
Mm,
specific to you. Clear roles, clear purposes. Phase 5 is when you start selling. You'll lose money, but you gain clarity, and that's priceless. Intentionality. He got to 15 watches in this phase, 10 worn regularly instead of 2 getting 70%. Some collectors stay here forever. I think I'm in this phase for the
yeah.
most part. You can have intentionality, but you can also get carried away with that. Like you can find a rationalization for every watch in your watch box if you want to. You can collect with
Yep.
intentionality and have 100 watches. This is my titanium diver. This is my
Mhm.
bronze
Yeah.
diver. This is my tantalum. You can go crazy if you want. But yeah, so I think this is probably where I'm at. Everything's a little intentional in
Mm,
my collection, but I don't have any redundancy outside of the G Shocks.
yeah.
But in like the watches I've spent real money on, very little repetition, or
Yeah.
they're all kind of different.
I was in phase 5 maybe a couple months ago. Um, when well, I picked up a Citizen GMT automatic, right?
Hmm.
And that was gonna be my travel watch. And then, and I was rationalizing some of these other watches and giving them, tasks, like, this is this and this is gonna be dressed. And then but then I sold that GMT, and really, like, I don't like when I look at these watches, like they could all be dress watches, or they could all be everyday watches, or they could all be like divers, even though like half of them are not divers. Like I'm
Right.
I'm like kind of like not in 5 anymore.
Hmm. Are you? Well, we'll get there. We'll get
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
And then we'll finish up here real quick. Phase
yeah,
6, you become the specialist, the deep dive. You stop being a generalist and become an expert in one specific area. For example, you could collect only vintage speedies,
yeah.
only German watches. Hey,
Hey, not anymore.
that's you, man. Yeah,
Not anymore.
it was you.
It was me.
Only independence, only,
Yeah,
name it. You're an authority figure and specialist in your sector. You
yeah.
know all the reference numbers, like Sanjay with Grand Seiko,
Mm,
right? I would say he was like a Grand Seiko. He could just rattle those numbers off.
like
Like
Rain Man.
if I forgot a reference number of the GS I owned, he could spit it out, no
Yeah,
problem. Yeah,
yeah,
it was nice having him around for that, and many other reasons too. We miss you,
yeah.
Sanjay.
We do.
Um, they track production variations. He mentioned somebody that he knows collects vintage Rolex, and he knew all the ins and outs of the different dials and all that stuff. They can also spot fake dials and redials and all that thing. Obsessive focus. That wasn't for him. He felt like it was a different kind of trap. The goal wasn't deeper. The goal was done. Have you ever German watches? Has that ever been your sole focus, or more just like a sub collection?
Yeah, I mean, like, like a very um it was more than a sub collection, but it wasn't like enough to be like my sole focus.
Yeah.
I was definitely, and I still am very interested in German watchmaking. It's just that, where I am in my collection and and in life, like, I just, haven't really thought about it much. And I know Papa USA is asking me about have I seen the new Hannah. I haven't seen it. I mean, I got an email from Watch Buy saying that it's out, but I haven't seen it
Oh,
yet.
I don't think I've seen that either.
Yeah, and it's well, they had there was they did release one years ago. Maybe they've done a new one. Anyway, with Gentry collab with Hand Art. Um, but yeah, like like I'm not even in six. I don't know if I've ever what even as a German watch fan myself. Like wouldn't consider myself an expert.
Yeah. No, that's not for me at all.
Yeah,
No. Too
yeah,
much everything's too similar and then too neurotic for
yeah,
phase 6. Yeah.
yeah.
Then there's phase 7. Uh okay. Yep. You become enlightened. That's where our bro is here. He's
Yeah.
an enlightened collector. It's the final phase when you realize you only need a handful of watches, 12 max. That seems like more than a handful.
Yeah.
Uh, that's like McMahon. Every week it goes up. I only have 7 watches. I only have 8 watches. Um, for him, that's a core of 4 he'll never sell, and then 2 to 8 rotating pieces for variety. Everything else is excess and ego. This is where I like, you're kind of just like putting everybody in the same box. Like not everybody's the same.
Yeah.
Lost me a little bit through some of this. Phase 7 is the core that you'll never sell. Everything gets worn, nothing sits. That I agree with. Everyone's will look different too. Your core 4 or 6, whatever, is going to look different than mine.
Yeah.
The shift here is understanding that watches are tools, things you wear. Again, like some
Mhm,
people collect different things, and that's
mhm.
not always the case, right? We all do it differently. If somebody's happy, we know plenty of people who are happy with 30
Yeah.
watches and they're safe that they hardly ever wear, but
Yeah.
that's what makes them happy. So hey,
Yeah.
if you're not conflicted about it, then I don't really think there's an issue, is there? I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Um, if a watch isn't on your wrist, it doesn't serve a purpose. Again, not sure I agree. That's different for everybody.
Mhm.
And then he says people don't care what you're wearing, cheap or expensive. When you love something and you wear it, then people will notice because you carry yourself with a confidence when you're wearing a watch or a piece of clothing that you really like. Um, you care more about what makes you happy over what might get respect from others. A $500 watch you love is better than a $50,000 watch you bought for status. Then he talks about rotation anxiety. Also, if you have too many watches, our friend Jeff McMahon's talked about that,
Yeah.
paralysis analysis. And then he goes into a recap of everything. But yeah, what phase, if you had to
I don't
nail it down, do you think
man,
you're in right now?
I don't know. I mean, I'm in like phase 8, which is just like, kind of like, and I have to admit it, like,
Buying
what?
citizens from that eBay
Yeah,
store.
yeah, not even doing that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so like I have my core watches that I'll never sell, and which is ironically the same watches that I had before I got back into collecting in 2018.
Mm,
Um, and so like I'm like kind of apathetic right now. I gotta admit, I mean, I love hanging out with you and doing this and talking watches with people, but right now, like, my interest is like, it is not the same. So like, yeah, I mean, like I have my core, but I don't think watches are just tools either, though. Um, I think there's some art involved, right? And there's something very pleasing about that. But I'm just like, I don't really, I'm not, it's cyclical. I'll come back. I promise you, I'll come back and be into it again. I'm just not like, you know, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I get it.
How about
Yep.
you? Where are you at?
Yeah, I think if I had to pick one, probably 5. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Like I said before, yeah.
You more so. You guys are
Yeah.
both 5. Um, Von Cruel 12. Wow. Most are foremost, that's not a big issue anyway. He's got phase 8 for Maison. He's like, I'll do what the F I like and won't be
Yeah.
pigeonholed to the face.
That was the one problem I had with this video is like, and Homer and I talked about it too. Like,
Yeah.
don't necessarily agree. Like, these are his
Yeah.
phases, and we might be able to identify with parts of
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
just because you have that many watches, if that's what makes you happy, I know plenty of people who have 100 watches and are thrilled and want more.
Yeah.
So hey,
Yeah.
if that's what you like, then do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Me and Joey, we're in the same stage. We're in the same stage now.
Yeah.
And I think Joey would also admit that he'll get back into it.
Oh yeah,
You know,
it's definitely it ebbs and flows, ebbs
yeah,
and flows. You
watches.
never you hadn't seen the you hadn't seen the PO. I was impressed with that.
Yeah, I gotta see it. I gotta see it. Bobby Lake store still likes
Yeah,
watches.
change the
Change the name.
channel.
Change the
Change the
channel
name
name.
of the channel. Yep.
Change the channel. Yeah. Um, all right. Let's get into Archie. This is gonna be a short one. Describing the video because there's a lot of like word repetition here for Archie. Like
Always.
it's always right. Um,
DS David DSW David DSW.
DSW.
I always have to say it 3
Yeah.
times.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um,
Uh,
is the watch market dead? Um, it is officially dead, Archie says. Anyway, the watch market is dead as an investment. Anyway, a safeguard or an arbitrage. There's been videos coming out. He he's talking about Andrew Morgan. He's talking about Britt, even Ocean O'Malley. Is it his last name is O'Malley?
yeah.
Ocean. How they're calling it. They're calling the death of watchmaking, of not watchmaking, of watches. And Archie again still believes that watches still have value, but as investment it is over. It's Gonski. It's Gonski. I love that. I love he like he Polishized
Yeah.
the word gone. It's
Uh,
Gonski, he says several times over.
oh my
All his F
gosh.
words. He says F words a lot.
Oh yeah.
Things are back to normal, right? The last couple of years have been insane. There's some exceptions, right? Daytona subs and GMTs, D Steel, Rolex. He really hangs on Rolex here. I would say that there's some other brands that have models that will, as an investment wise, will. I mean, like of course, like like the Aquanaut or the whatever that other Paddock, the Nautilus. I mean that's never going to go under retail, especially in the sports. I mean, maybe precious metal, right? But there's certain other watches that other than Rolex that I think will still do well. But the number is dwindling, right? Um, this is an important announcement. He says it was stupid how things were. um, you know how people were buying watches. You can buy a watch and then with the mindset that you could probably sell it and make a profit. Those days are
Yeah.
gone. Those days are over. Rolex, still, is still has got that that cachet though. Especially some of those steel models that I mentioned before. And they're still kind of creating scarcity, right? um, because whether they're hiding it in the back or whatnot, or playing some games still, like "Oh, give us your wish list and see what you can make it happen." But he says some of those precious metal versions, like the root beer, you could probably get those kind of easily. Osin, he was saying that Osin was saying that like Rolex is still hard to get. Archie doesn't really totally seem to agree with that, although with some models, he does.
Well, in that video, Oshin did a little experiment because Britt said you can get Rolex now, and Andrew Morgan did too. So he actually filmed himself going to
Mhm.
authorized dealers in Venice and was shut down. So
Yeah,
he questioned because he and Britt I think have a little feud thing going too. So he's always kind of giving her sh. So yeah, he just wanted to say like he's kind of agreeing that the watch market isn't dead.
yeah,
Yeah, or that they're sounding the alarm, and you still can't get a Rolex if you want. You can get the undesirable ones maybe,
right,
but yeah,
right,
if
right.
if you want to, I think he tried to get like a root beer or something and couldn't get it. I can't
Yeah,
remember
and then
exactly, but
that could be because it's Venice. I mean, like like it
right.
maybe just a hard spot. And Archie bringing up that there was a dealer in South Australia near where he is, that had lost their
Hmm.
Rolex, um, business, and they couldn't. And with the other watches, they pulled the pin, as he said. They pulled the pin because the business was no longer viable. And I wish he went into a little more detail about this one, because were they strictly just selling watches? I mean, did they have like other? Did they sell jewelry? Like they really like because they really couldn't sell enough JLC or Omega to keep the business going. That's interesting if that's the case, right? I mean, like
And those two brands, who's raised their prices more than those
yeah,
two brands?
yeah.
Maybe they
Maybe
just,
it's true.
yeah,
Maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. Maybe they
yeah,
can't. Maybe they can't sell 'em.
yep.
Watches again, no longer an investment. Um, and he says you're not gonna have the mega collectors, man. I mean, like like people are just not into it as well. Um, buy what you like, enjoy it, um, and enjoy the hobby. Because it's going back to normal. This is back, back in the day, like you'd buy a watch, and depending on most times you lost a little money when you sold that watch. With the exceptions, of course, he brings up again Rolex. But yeah, it was stupid. The market was stupid. And look, we saw that. We saw it. Like we were living through that. And it almost felt like, I don't know if it felt like this to you, Clayton, and maybe because like like I wasn't in the hobby for years and years and years and years per se, or active in the hobby. Like I thought, like post pandemic, prior, but before now, like you know these prices were going to keep going up, and like I didn't see like it ever coming down. But that's because I hadn't seen previous markets before, really,
Yeah,
so I didn't have a good understanding about that. But I thought the watch market was going to keep on going up, keep on going up, keep it on going up. And sure enough, the economy has, whether you believe it or not, the economy, I've from what I've seen, has slowed down. you know
yeah.
Things are more expensive, and people have just shifted their focus, right? It's no longer watches. Um, what do you think? I mean, like, I think, as an investment, he's mostly right. It's dead, with some exceptions. Um,
Yeah.
but the watch market, it's normalizing, right?
I think like you said, we were a product of what the watch market is at the current moment. Like I got in like a year before the pandemic.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
things are pretty good and I bought a lot, that first year, and then once that happened, things went crazy. And like you, it was a little jarring when all those values kind of came down, and
Yeah.
I expected it to last for a long time because I didn't know any better. Also, it makes sense that it normalized, but yeah, like things were always so high. I remember my first year, right before the pandemic, I went in the local Rolex store. They had a full gold Daytona in there, and the guy pretty much offered it to me. It's $29,000, I think, and he said 29,000 if you want it.
Hmm.
And like those days, that was like February of 20, I think. I remember that
Yeah.
going in there. Yeah, so yeah, that just doesn't happen anymore. And I think if I got into watches now, um, I mean, look at us now that the market isn't as great. You're not as interested in watches. I've dialed back. Um, if I got into watches now, would I go hog wild like I did 7 years ago? I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't
Mm.
because it's harder to sell.
Hmm.
I cycled through so many watches because I knew selling was there. There was a demand, even for the affordable stuff.
Yeah.
It was easy because we all had money. We weren't spending money on anything else at that time. Like
Hmm.
when I was really buying and selling, that was the pandemic days.
Yeah.
So everybody just had money to burn. It seemed in the hobby.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, you burned it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I don't know. I think I'm a product of what the watch market is going. I've slowed down a lot, and it's no coincidence that it's because nobody's buying or people
Mm.
are buying less. So
Yeah. As I saying, the watch market isn't over if you're not after pieces, or a hyper desirable piece, then you're in the buyer's market. Yeah. No, I mean, like, uh, where I land on this, I don't think the watch market is dead per se. I guess what I meant was watch market as like as we knew it,
yeah,
like during quarantine,
you said
right?
before it's normal. It's not dead. It's normal.
Yeah, it's normalized.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
normal, and maybe as an investment, right?
yeah,
Um, it's not as um, it's not as a good investment as it was for a short period of time, right? Now I think less people are probably looking at watches right now as an investment, right?
It's an asset. If you
It's an
need
asset.
money, you can
Yeah,
sell it,
yeah.
but you're gonna lose. Yeah,
So maybe that is dead in a sense,
yeah.
right? But yeah, people are still buying watches, but I look, I mean, like I just think like they're not probably buying it as much as they were, but that is subject to change, and it's cyclical. When the good times will come back, economically speaking, probably maybe one day, and then people are going to be buying more watches. You know, so. Let's see what other people have to say. If you aren't chasing hype, the market hasn't changed much in the last 10 years. A new watch YouTube trend, the market is dead. Same as Rolex killer.
Yeah,
Okay.
like,
So,
everybody that's Archie's response to so many videos last week
yeah.
about, yeah, Britt, Andrew Morgan, and O'Sheen. Um,
Yeah.
seems like some weeks, like four or five YouTubers have the same exact topic.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's so just like maybe a little insight on that. Um, and in regards to when topics trend, if somebody does a video and it does very, very well in the back end here with the YouTube studio, you can check out what's trending, and
Ah,
and a lot of people will jump on that, right,
yeah.
to catch the views. So maybe somebody had the idea that it was over, it got a lot of views, and then other people jumped in, and that's what it seems like, four or
Okay.
five videos in one week. But that's probably what is likely happening. So um, I'm in Bobby's German. I'm in Bobby's German watch and one step further German car phase and loving it. Oh, good for you, KR Joy. Awesome. A stable market is good for most of us. People made money on the way up and lost on the money on the way down. I'm happy enough that I can keep losing 30% on resale. He's also saying I speak from collector's perspective, not a business investment perspective. Gotcha. Understood. Understood. I agree with you. I agree with you, Maison. I agree with you.
But it's like, my business per se, like, it's a luxury need.
Mhm.
People having their dog
Yeah.
exercise, like, that's a and I've never been busier, and
Mhm.
we read all the time, and I mean, I feel it with putting gas in my van
Yeah,
a
yeah.
couple times a week. Like, whew, it goes up.
Mhm.
But it's still like people are still spending money, and so I don't know what to think of the economy, because I definitely feel with the price of food and other things. But yet, people are still spending money on my service, which is,
Yeah.
mostly a luxury.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
could I could tell you, as part of a family of 4, we're eating out less, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, and when we go out, it's just way too expensive. It's just way expensive, you know? So we've definitely like now that I'm going in the office, like I pack up breakfast and lunch, like I like it hurt like I make a game out of not buying
Yeah.
anything at the cafeteria. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
good.
so because like, get a sandwich and it's like 12, $13,
Yep.
and so that's crazy, when, maybe like, 4 or 5 years ago, you're spending maybe 7 or 8, on a sandwich. So,
Yeah.
um, and definitely grocery prices are high. So that, I mean, maybe I'm just speaking. I guess I'm just speaking for myself when this is how I'm looking at it, and maybe I'm perceiving it that everybody else is having the same problems, but maybe not. Maybe everybody, people can, like their
I eat out quite a bit for lunch. Yeah.
activities.
I
Even the deans are expensive, man. Even certain
Oh,
deans
yeah.
can be expensive.
I mean, I get paid in cash a lot,
Yeah,
and that's usually what I reserve. So I buy lunch. Sometimes I'm just too lazy, or
yeah,
I wake up, I'll wake up early, and I'll just like, oh, I should make my lunch and do all these
yeah,
things.
yeah,
Before you know it, I have to leave in 10 minutes, and I'm running around like a lunatic trying to get everything done. Like, what happened to that 2 hours where I just like sit and chill in the morning? I
yeah,
chill a little too hard. Uh,
yeah.
so yeah, but using cash, but yeah, it's expensive.
Mhm,
Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I gotta start making my lunch.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why that eBay Citizen eBay store was so good for
Yeah, yeah.
right.
I mean, I the way things are expensive. Like I signed up, my sister and I signed up for a marathon in Duluth next summer, and I'm going to train really hard for it and like do a fast time. I called like 2 days after the marathon sold out, like 10,000 people. Duluth is not a, it's like 80,000 people, not a huge town.
Yeah.
Tried calling every hotel. I could not find a room, and they're price gouging. Even like the Super 8 is like 700 for that weekend if
Wow.
I wanted like 2 days. I ended up getting a room. I won't say how much, but it cost almost as much as our all-inclusive resort we booked for Cabo in March. A
Jeez.
weekend in frickin' Duluth, Minnesota. Like, man, it's not fair, and it just goes to show you, like, things are not cheap. I can imagine, like, if a family of four, like a dad or a
Yeah.
mom is running their first marathon and they want to go. I mean, it's like going to Disneyland. It's ridiculous.
Dude, go to a Mets game with a family of four.
Oh God.
It's it's bananas.
Yeah.
Like, how did I
I
get?
don't know how people do it. I don't understand how people do it.
Man, yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, hey,
Yeah.
look, we made it. You know, a little rusty. I admit, I was a little rusty. You
Ah,
know,
we did.
listening to
We did
myself.
well. We did
I think
well.
we did. I think we did. I think we got. I'll give us an A. I'll give us an A. I'll definitely give you an A. Maybe I got
Nah,
a B plus.
we're a B. I'd say a solid B.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Guys, put your grades in the chat.
Yeah.
We'll review them. Uh,
Uh,
hey, anyway, look, man. Have a great Thanksgiving, man.
yeah.
And then hopefully we'll circle back the week after. And guys, I'll be streaming next week, maybe Tuesday, and I'll promise I'll look up some of these new watches that come out, so at least I know what I'm talking about. Man, it's been a while. Anyway,
Yeah.
have a
Happy
great.
Thanksgiving to you and your family, Bobby.
Thank
And
you.
we'll see you in a couple weeks. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the chat. Hope you have a wonderful time with your family and friends.
Yep. All right, guys. Have a good one.